20 million people died. Not from a single storm, not from a single flood, from a weather pattern. A pattern so large it bent the climate of the entire planet, and most people living through it never even knew its name. That was 1877. I'll come back to it, because what happened then has everything to do with what is setting up right now over the Pacific Ocean, while most of the country is paying attention to something else entirely. 20 million people died before we go any further. Not from a single storm, not a hurricane, not from a single flood. This is not a panic video. From a weather pattern. There is no single pattern. Monster storm with a name and a satellite picture bearing down on your town tonight. What there is, and honestly, in a lot of ways, this is harder to wrap your head around, is a pattern. A slow, enormous rearranging of the atmosphere and the ocean that is going to touch nearly every state in the country over the coming months. Different dangers in different places, same root cause. I read the real reports, the Climate Prediction Center outlooks, the NOAA seasonal discussions, the National Weather Service guidance, so you don't have to. And I'm going to be straight with you the whole way. Through, including the parts where the science is uncertain, honesty matters more than sounding confident. There's also a twist buried in this story. A danger almost nobody's talking about, and it's not the one you'd expect. I'll get to that. But first, if you want to hear this kind of thing early, clearly, and without the hype, hit subscribe. That's the whole deal here. Not hype, not panic, just clear, including honest information where the science is uncertain. The panic channels figure honesty out matters more than sounding confident. Stay with me on this one. There's also a twist buried in this story. When a meteorologist a danger almost nobody's talking about. Pattern is setting. It's not the one you up. It sounds vague. It sounds like a dodge. It is not a dodge. It is actually the most important idea in all of weather. And once you see it, you will never look at a forecast the same way again. Picture the atmosphere as a river, not a metaphorical river. An actual physical river of air, thousands of feet deep, wrapping around the entire planet, flowing from west to east. You've seen its fingerprints your whole life without realizing it. Sounds vague. Storms don't like a dodge. They travel not a dodge. Like cars. It is actually the most important idea in all of weather. River of air. And once you see it, stream, steered day after day by where the warm water and the cold water sit in the Pacific Ocean. Now here's the key. Think of the Pacific Ocean like an enormous pot of water on your stove. The burner underneath isn't gas. It's the sun, and tropical sunshine has been pouring heat into that water every single day for years. Ocean water doesn't forget heat the way air does. Air loses its warmth in a night. Streams it for months, steered day after day. So where the warm water and the cold water sit runs warmer than normal. When that whole here's the key. Of the pot heats up, the atmosphere above it has no choice. It responds. And that is what is happening now. The Climate Prediction Center has been tracking a strong El Niño building through the second half of this year with the odds of a very strong event, the kind that only comes around a handful of times in a generation, running better than 3 in 5 as we head into the heart of the atmosphere above it has no choice. A probability backed by ocean heat, and that is what is happening now. Thousands of miles of the Pacific. The Climate Prediction Center has been tracking a strong El Niño building into the second half of this year. California or an ice storm in Tennessee. Think of it like a spoon stirring a pot of soup. The warm patch of ocean is the spoon. Where it sits and how hard it pushes decides which way the whole pot turns. Move the spoon, and every current in the pot rearranges. Shift the warm water 1,000 miles east, and the jet stream over North America bends south, splits, and starts dragging Pacific moisture straight into places that are used to being dry, while shutting off the storm supply to places that depend on it. Or think of it like a loaded bank account. All that extra ocean heat is money deposited into the atmosphere's account. It doesn't sit there politely. It gets spent on stronger storms, on heavier rain, on bigger temperature swings. The only questions are where the withdrawals happen and when. That's exactly what's happening above your head right now. The spoon is moved, the ocean is loaded, is money deposited, and the withdrawals are about to start. Quick, it doesn't sit there politely. It gets spent. I ask myself the same thing. Stronger storms. Isn't this rain on bigger temperature swings? Hasn't it the only always done this? Yes. El Niño is natural. It has happened for thousands of years. Here's the problem. The baseline ocean underneath it is warmer than it has ever been in the instrument record. So the pattern isn't running on the old settings. It's running on new, hotter settings. And that changes the math on everything I'm about to show you. Because I want to kill the idea right now that this is some abstract model output that only exists on a computer screen. This is a real thing the Earth does. El Niño is natural. It has happened for thousands of years. And the last times it did it at this strength, the consequences were written in bodies. Let's start with the big one, the one I opened with. 1877. That year, one of the strongest El Niño events ever recorded locked into place over the Pacific. And here's what it did, quietly, without a single headline, because there were no satellites and no climate prediction. The consequences were written in bodies. It flipped the monsoon over India. Let's start with the rain simply didn't come. The one I opened with. It starved northern China of its summer rainfall for 2 straight years. One of the it turned northeastern Brazil's farmland to dust. The droughts and the famines that followed killed somewhere around 20 million people across 3 continents. By the most conservative historical estimates, some researchers say 50 million, from a weather pattern, one that no human being alive at the time even understood existed. Closer to home and it turned northeastern Brazil's farmland the winter of 1997 into 1998 that followed, the strongest El Niño of the modern era, tied later by 2015 and 2016. By the most conservative historical California took the hit that some year. A conveyor belt of Pacific storms, fed by that same bent jet stream, dropped wave after wave of rain on already saturated ground. Hillsides that had stood for decades let go in the middle of the night. In one February stretch, storms killed 17 people in California, destroyed hundreds of homes, and did roughly $500 million. A conveyor belt of Pacific storms, fed by that same bent jet stream, coastal road, dropped wave after wave of rain on already saturated. Whole neighborhoods in places like Laguna Beach and Rio Nito found out what 100-year storm actually feels like. It feels like your street becoming a river at 2 a.m. And then there's the event that forecasters still talk about in lowered voices. 1982-83. That El Niño produced storms that killed an estimated 2,000 neighborhoods worldwide. Places like Laguna Beach and Rio Nito be tens of billions of dollars. 100-year storm actually feels like. In California, waves like the size of becoming a river at 2 a.m. Santa Monica Pier not chipped it, tore it apart. A third of it ended up in the ocean. Now, notice something about all 3 of those. In 1877, nobody knew it was coming. In 1982, scientists caught it late. In 1997, they saw it coming months ahead, and it still overwhelmed infrastructure because Santa Monica Pier is coming and being built for it, tore it apart. 2 very different. A third of it ended up in the ocean. That's the lesson sitting underneath all of this history. Notice something about all 3 of them. Straight into the part that matters to you this season in your town. But first, remember that twist I mentioned? The danger nobody is talking about? We're getting close to it. And it's not rain. Here's what the real current setup looks like based on the actual forecast discussions. Not the hype version. Straight into the part that matters Equatorial to you. Pacific sea surface temperatures in your town. Climbing through the summer first, and the subsurface remember heat, that twist I mentioned? The warm water you can't see. The danger nobody is talking about? A few hundred feet down like a battery is the part that has forecasters' attention. The Climate Prediction Center's outlook as we head toward winter has leaned steadily stronger, with a very strong El Niño now the single most likely outcome for the November to January peak. That's not one model. That's the consensus of a few hundred feet down like a battery. Is the part that has forecast ocean buoy data from the tropical atmosphere. Climate Prediction Center's outlook as we head toward winter has floating in real water, stronger, reporting real heat, very strong bursts. Atmospheric rivers, narrow ribbons of tropical moisture thousands of miles long, each one carrying as much water as several Mississippi rivers stacked in the sky. When one of those parks over the transverse ranges above Los Angeles, or the burn scars from recent fire seasons, you are not dealing with rain anymore. You are dealing with moving earth, atmospheric rivers, debris flows, narrow ribbons of tropical moisture, thousands of miles long. Asleep. Each one carrying along the Gulf Coast as several Midwest and Northeast. The classic strong El Niño signal is a milder winter overall, fewer Arctic outbreaks, less snow for a lot of you. And I'll deal with that honestly in a moment, because mild does not mean safe, and the way it becomes unsafe is one of the sneakiest things in all of meteorology. And if you're in Hawaii, or the Southwest deserts, or the high plains, you each have your own version of this. That's the point of the title of this video. It's not a storm. Strong El Niño signal is a milder winter overall. It's on the news for 48 outbreak hours, and it's gone. A pattern touches everybody for months in different ways, and most people never connect their piece of it to anyone else's piece. That connection is what I'm giving you today. Now, before we go further, I want your take on something specific, because I read every comment. When you hear strong El Niño winter, what's the one thing you worry about most where you live? Flooding, tornadoes, snow and ice, or fire season after? Drop it in the comments with your state. I'm genuinely curious how the map of worry in different ways with the map of risk. Most people never connect their piece of it to anyone. Risk has a hidden corner, and that's where we're going next. Here it is. The most dangerous weather of a strong El Niño winter for the largest number of people is not the flood. It's not the mudslide. It's not even the tornado. It's the ice that nobody sees coming in the places that are supposed to be mild. Think about what I told you a minute ago. Strong El Niño winters tilt the Midwest, the Mid-South, and the East has a milder overall temperatures. And that's where everyone hears that as good news. Here it is. Hardware stores in the most dangerous weather of a strong El Niño winter for the largest number. Cities don't preposition the plows. Families don't think about the pipes because the story of the season is mild. But here's the part almost nobody is paying attention to. A warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, roughly 7% more for every degree Celsius. So when the rare Arctic outbreak does punch south during a strong El Niño winter, and history says at least one or two usually do, it doesn't meet dry, cold air the way it used to. It meets a Gulf of Mexico running bathtub warm, loaded with moisture, with an active southern jet stream already stretching storm systems across the continent like wet rope. Cold air, deep moisture, a loaded storm track. That's not a snow recipe for most of the South. That's an ice storm recipe. Ask anyone who lived through February. It meets a Gulf of Mexico running bathtub warm, loaded with moisture, with an active southern jet stream already stretching storm systems. Killed over 200 people, collapsed the power grid for nearly 5 million homes and businesses, and left families burning furniture to keep their kids warm. In Texas, in the modern era. Now ask the people of Atlanta about January of 2014. 2 inches of snow and ice that turned highways into parking lots with thousands of people sleeping in their cars and in grocery store aisles. 2 inches. Here's the number that should stop you cold. And I mean that literally. Winter storms and extreme cold kill more Americans in an average year than hurricanes do. Not once in a while. Most years. Quietly. 1 house fire from a space heater at a time. 1 carbon monoxide poisoning from a generator running in a garage at a time. 1 heart attack from shoveling at a time. No satellite imagery. No dramatic landfall. Just a mounting toll that never gets a name. So when you hear mild winter likely, I need you to hear it the way the forecasters who write the actual outlooks mean it. Milder on average, across 3 months, with the door still open for one or two house fire from a space nobody in your county is ready for. 1 carbon monoxide poisoning from a generator running in a garage at a time. Think the mild winter is the safe winter. Actually, the mild winter is the unprepared winter. And unprepared is the real killer in every single disaster I've ever covered on this channel. Everyone. Now, before you panic, take a breath. Here's the actual data, straight. This is not a warning. This is not a countdown. Nobody, not me, not the Climate Prediction Center, not anyone, can tell you that your town will flood on a specific date. The mild winter is the safe winter. Seasonal outlooks don't. Mild winter is the unprepared winter. Tells you otherwise. And unprepared is the real killer in every single disaster I've ever. Tilt. Loaded dice. The dice still have to be thrown. And let's kill the biggest myth right now. El Niño does not cause every storm. Individual storms will happen this winter that have nothing to do with the Pacific. The dice still have to be thrown. Weather is chaos. Let's kill the biggest myth right now. The models genuinely disagree on the details. Loaded dice, east, the warmest water. The dice still have to be thrown. The subtropical jet gets. And let's kill the biggest myth right now. Peaks in December or February. El Niño does not cause every. Be straight with you about that, because honesty matters more than sounding confident. The people who study this for a living are humble about the details and confident about the broad strokes. That's the correct posture, and it's the one I'm asking you to adopt. Also, a strong El Niño does one genuinely good thing for a lot of you. It tends to shred Atlantic hurricanes late in the season and suppress them. If you live on the Gulf, be straight with you about that coast, because honesty matters more than sounding confident. The same wind shear that bends study this for a living are humble about the details and confident about. Organize off Africa. Not impossible. Never say impossible, but harder. That's the honest full picture. One pattern, many consequences, some of them protective. So what do you actually do with all of this? Not panic, prepare. There's a difference, and the difference is a checklist. 1. Know your local risk. Specifically, if you're in California or the Southwest, your words are atmospheric river and debris flow. Learn whether you live downhill of a burn scar, because that single fact changes your risk more than any forecast. If you're in the South, your words are flash flood and winter tornado. And yes, because that single fact way to get changes your risk more than any forecast. That will actually wake you up. If you're in the South, if your words are flash flood, your word is winter tornado. Snowpack. And your season of consequence is next summer, so plan water and fire defensibility accordingly. If you're in the Midwest or East, your word is ice. Just ice. 2. Do the boring winter prep now while it's cheap and the shelves are full. Flashlights, batteries. A way to charge your phone without the grid. A few days of water and food. If you have a generator, run it outside. Never in the garage, not even with the door open. Every winter, families who survive the storm are killed by the generator. Don't be that family. 3. Check on your people. The elderly neighbor, the friend with a new baby, the family in the mobile home at the edge of town. Disasters don't kill statistics. They kill the isolated. A 2-minute knock on a door is worth more than any emergency kit ever sold. 4. Pick one official source and trust it. Your local National Weather Service office. Wireless emergency alerts on your phone. When the pattern turns into a specific storm with your town's name in the discussion, local National Weather Service office, not the panic channels, wireless emergency alerts on your phone. Step back and look at the pattern turns into a specific storm with your town's name in the discussion. Of warm water in the tropical Pacific bends the jet stream. The bent jet stream drags fire hose rains into California, spins up winter tornadoes across the south, starves the northwest of snow, and lulls the east into a mildness that makes the one ice event of the season devastating. Same cause, different. Dangers. 20 million people learned that the hardest possible way in 1877. You get to learn it from a video. That's the pattern, not a storm. Dangers. Season-long rearrangement of the sky that will shock different parts of the country at different times. And now, when it does, get to learn it from a video, you'll recognize that's the pattern. If this connected some dots for you, hit subscribe so you're the first to know when this pattern takes its next turn. I'll be tracking the ocean heat, the snowpack, and the first big atmospheric rivers as they line up, and you'll hear it here before the panic videos figure out what to yell about. Like the video if you want this kind of breakdown to reach more people. And tell me in the comments. I read everyone. Where are you watching from? And which piece of this pattern worries you most? The California fire hose rain, the southern winter tornadoes, the quiet northwest snow drought, or the ice that comes to the mild winter nobody prepared for? Drop your state and your answer below. Stay weather aware, take care of your people, snow drought, or the ice that comes to the mild